Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So apparently, allegedly, there are a lot of people up in an uproar, if you will, because of these ticket prices for the Beyonce tour show, whatever she got going on, that's coming up very soon. Now, I don't know why people are upset now. It's to my understanding that these celebrities, rich people basically, these rich corporations and businesses like Ticketmaster, they've been doing stuff like this. This isn't new in any way, shape, or form. Now, are the prices especially egregious? Oh, absolutely. And a lot of people have been real angry. They've been voicing their opinion, especially on TikTok. I don't know what made TikTok the universal place for everybody to go to air out all their grievances, but that's what it is. I think it would be a little bit more effective if they would take it to God in prayer, but that's a conversation people are not ready to have. So apparently, allegedly, Ticketmaster has been getting over on people. Allegedly. Y'all know I gotta say allegedly. Out here recently with these ticket prices. Allegedly, they were doing crazy stuff like price gouging. There were people alleging that they were on the website waiting in a line, essentially. That's crazy. How you go on a website sitting at home on your computer and you're waiting in a line? Allegedly, thousands of people ahead of them. Tens of thousands is what some people were alleging. Only to get booted out and then told they had to come back the next day to do it all over again after hours of waiting. And there were glitches in the system. One moment, somebody would be charged one price. Then somehow they were charged another price. Allegedly, the Beehive was angry because they said they were being charged out of the behind, so to speak, while other people who were not crazy fanatics were not being charged as much. Or some, like I said, glitch was going on where one moment they were one price and then something would happen and then like right after somebody purchased it, bang, it's like $500 cheaper or something like that, and they were like, I'm calling to get my money back, or I'm calling to try and see if I can get them to fix the price because this is not right, this is not fair. A lot of them had some fair grounds to do that, but then when Ticketmaster was getting so many calls of people either trying to get their money back or get some kind of partial refund because they felt it was unfair that they were charged one price for a certain seat, whereas other people were being charged something else, they basically shut all that down, allegedly either made it to where they were non-refundable or they could not call to get their money back or to get that price adjustment, if you will. A lot of crazy stuff going on. They took to YouTube as well to express their problems. This one person said, as I mentioned, those thousands of people, tens of thousands allegedly, that some people had to wait behind online. And I quote, notice they've each had 20,000 people ahead of them. Bots, Ticketmaster, bot batch buying. This is illegal. End quote. Now, I'm assuming she was trying to make a little joke, a call back to whenever Senator Jasmine did that. Oh, you have a bleach bad butch built body. I don't know. I can't remember how to say the full thing, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Maybe that's what she was trying to do there with that, to kind of add some comedic relief. But once again, there were multiple people alleging that there were tens of thousands of people ahead of them, so to speak. And again, this was multiple times. Them getting on there the first time, having all these alleged people ahead of them, then getting booted out and told to come back tomorrow. The same thing happening all over again. I've said this before. People don't want to believe this, but these companies use stuff like bots, unethical methods to do what they want to. It's all about money and greed. It's what they do. It's what they've always done. It's how they operate. Another person reminded them, and I quote, y'all created that monster. These prices are outrageous. End quote. And it's the truth. I've said this before as well. If y'all don't want to be treated a certain way by these celebrities, then you know how to respond. Whenever they put something out, whenever they try to charge for something, again, out of the behind, for whatever it is, respond by not supporting them. If they do something that's blatantly wrong or disrespectful, greedy, remind them who's the one that's really fueling their careers. It's the common people who are going to these 9-to-5s, working their butts off to be charged too much money for whatever it is they're putting out. That said, 9-to-5ers don't even need to be buying anyways, because we've got other things that need our attention, that need financial attention, other things that money can be spent on more properly, that's more useful. But whenever you still support these celebrities or these companies, and you support them by still giving your money to them, you still support them after they've done all this outrageous mess, they're going to say, oh, well, Despite how they felt about it, they still gave us their money, so they're going to keep doing it anyways. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing and we're not going to care about it. Unfortunately, they're very business minded, and a lot of business minded individuals are greedy. You don't get to the places where Ticketmaster is, Beyonce is, along with other people who are billionaires, by being ethical or fair or right for that matter. Another person also reminded us, and I quote, "They're out here complaining about ticket prices, but still buying them. Make it make sense, Lord," with a sad face emoji, end quote. Once again, why are y'all making videos talking about the outrageous prices when y'all are still buying them? Like a lot of these same people who were on TikTok, they were really angry about how much money those prices were. But this was after. This video that they made was posted after they had the ticket. And I'm confused too. I don't understand it. If the ticket price is making you that angry, why are you still purchasing it? Maybe that's a sign. Maybe God is trying to tell you something. Another person said, and I quote, "I'm laughing my butt off while I keep my money in my pocket, especially my tax money too," followed by a host of laughing face emojis, end quote. Once again, people have been pointing out, I don't know why people have not realized this at this point, but this happens every year. Don't y'all notice every year somebody pops up with something around tax time? Because they know the people who are directly supporting their career now has a little more money, a little more spending money because of those tax returns. People could be using that money to stash away for a vacation later on in the year or in the middle of the year. Or maybe it's that time around where they go on their vacation at the beginning and that tax money is what helps them do that. They could be using tax money to buy a new car. I know that's what some people do, to pay off some bills. I know that's what I like to do. Or catch up on some things that I was not able to before because I didn't have that extra money before the tax season, so to speak. Some people just put it in the bank to save. They invest in stocks and bonds, cryptocurrency. Some people just put it in the bank to either save or to sit there because they're going to need that depending on where they stay. Certain areas of the United States get hit with certain types of natural disasters. Unfortunately, like the fires that took place in LA, still be praying for the people over there because just because it's been, a little bit of time, there's still people that's devastated over there. People who live on the South Coast, like around Texas and Louisiana, and people who live on the Southeast Coast, like over in Florida, they have to worry about hurricanes, possible hurricanes. So some people take their income tax and put it in the bank so that God forbid one of those come around, they'll have some money to evacuate. Because you're going to have some money somewhere to pull from, God forbid, if, once again, a natural disaster because of where you're living hits you. I said all that to remind everybody that there's way more important things, more useful things, more proper things to use your hard-earned money on, instead of being taken advantage of by these companies and celebrities. Also to give some people some ideas and to encourage some people. Some people don't make enough money throughout the year to splurge on themselves once or twice, to go shopping, to sit down at a fancy restaurant that costs a little bit more than what they would usually be able to afford. Sometimes people just take a little bit of that money to do those things, to add a little bit to the quality of life. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Just don't go overboard, of course. Like I said, any of those options is better than being taken advantage of by corporations, businesses, etc., like Ticketmaster and celebrities who have too much money already and are fleecing people. This is fleecing. I want people to understand that. Another person in the YouTube comments said, and I quote, "The fact that people are crying about these high ticket prices, however, you're still paying for them, make it make sense," end quote. Like I said, I'm still trying to understand it myself. Now, some people might say, oh, well, they have the right to complain because they paid for them, but you did not have to. That's the point we're trying to get across. I don't understand. It's like this spirit of, oh, I had to give Beyonce my money that's on these people, and it's very disturbing to me. Another person said what I've been saying for quite a while now, and I quote, "Don't go. Boycott the tour. Let them feel you," end quote. Once again, you don't like what somebody is doing. Well, you see them for who they are. You believe it. Like people are saying, I can't believe these ticket prices. Well, they're right there in your face. Go ahead and believe it. It might be a hard pill to swallow. You'll be okay. Go ahead and accept the truth and then act accordingly. And that act accordingly is boycott, withdraw support. Once again, the way I see it, you shouldn't even be supporting them to begin with. These are the same working class individuals who will be trying to call out how the upper class, the elite, the rich, the millionaires and billionaires are taking from the majority, the working individuals, the 9-to-5ers, if you will, to make themselves richer. But that also includes your favorite celebrities. For some reason, black people keep forgetting that because they look like you doesn't mean they identify with you or your struggle. Once again, all of these black celebrities, they are also a part of the elite. They identify with the elite. They identify with their money, their millions and their billions, not the regular, average, 9-to-5, working class individuals. They don't identify with the rest of us. So you're giving them your money is no different than you giving the other corporations your money who don't look like you, who are also taking advantage of you. It's the hypocrisy, and they can't even see it because they are deluded. Now, somebody else brought up something I didn't even think about. I didn't even consider until they mentioned it. And I quote, "What's even worse is when you include the merchandise, food, travel, and hotel stay on top of that," end quote. Again, I didn't even think of that because I was raised in the church, y'all. My parents didn't play that going to these secular celebrities, concerts and all that kind of stuff, spending all this money to go there because we know it for what it is. And some people might say, oh, well, that's how you were raised. That's why you think that way. Even as an adult, I still don't do it because I came into the understanding of what's really going on here. These concerts are blatantly idol worship. You're not going there to worship God. You're not going there to do anything really productive. You're going there to worship these celebrities. You're going there to worship the idols, the gods that they have yoked themselves to, so to speak. I see it for what it is as an adult for myself, which is why I don't go to them. I never have gone to them, and I never will. And also because I understand supporting them, once again, is supporting the same elite individuals who are taking advantage of everybody else. Now, once again, as this person said back to their comment, people weren't even thinking about that. Again, they were charging people like $1,000 apparently. There were some people who were purchasing thousands of dollars worth of tickets, and some tickets that were thousands of dollars just by themselves. Now, some people did make the point that the people who were purchasing the tickets that were like $1,000 and greater were probably rich people, other celebrities who wanted a close seat, or maybe influencers who wanted to get a video or who wanted to get close to be able to see the performance. I understand that. I do. But once again, even for somebody who has that kind of money, that's still ridiculous. But again, you got to think about all of this. So the ticket price alone, and then on top of that, how you going to get to where you got to get to. Now, some people, they stay in the area where the concert was taking place. But apparently there was one young lady on TikTok who was talking about she bought a ticket that was in a completely different state where she was, because that's the only ticket she was able to purchase and to afford. And it probably was a nosebleed seat anyways. I'm not sure, but y'all know how that kind of stuff goes. But they were saying even for the nosebleed seats, again, they were charging ridiculous amounts of money. But again, so you've got $1,000 worth of a ticket, or hundreds of dollars for a ticket. And that's not even including the hundreds of dollars you got to pay for the plane to get you there and back, unless you're there in the city where it's taking place. And even if you are, you got to pay for gas to get there, parking, food. If you're flying in, you got to have somewhere to stay. So now you got to pack something. You got to make provisions for, again, food, what you're going to buy in the area. Things might cost more than they did back at home. It's not like you can take your refrigerator there. And of course, they have amenities in the hotel rooms. But what are you going to do? Eat ramen noodles the entire time you're there? Buy bologna from the dollar store and put it in the icebox? Don't even get me started, too, on those hotel prices. Once again, that fluctuate from city to city, from state to state. And they be knowing when stuff is going on around them in the community. And those hotels will sometimes also price gouge people. they will up the charges because they know more people are coming in because this concert is taking place around the corner up the street. They will do it. I told y'all before, a lot of businesses, they don't get where they go. They don't get their money unless it's through unethical practices. Stuff that's not right, that's not fair, even sometimes illegal. Now, another person in these YouTube comments said, and I quote, "Y'all have fun. I'm trying to save some money to pay my bills." End quote, which again was one of those options that I mentioned before, which is way better than giving your money to somebody who's already leagues richer than you are, making them more rich, making yourself in a worse off position with money that you need to be using for you, your necessities, and some of your wants. You're giving it to them. They're already in a comfortable disposition, and you're putting yourself in an uncomfortable and a bad, financially bad disposition by giving it to them. And they're not going to stop you because they don't care. They just want the money, which this next comment doubles down on. And I quote, "People are now just figuring out that Beyonce don't give a you-know-what about y'all," with the face emoji and a face palm emoji. End quote. People really be thinking that these celebrities care about them and their financial disposition. If you give $1,000 to purchase a ticket to see this woman perform, and then you go broke tomorrow, or you can't make your house payment or your car payment or your rent payment, or you can't make a light bill payment, and then your light is shut off, is Beyonce going to come pay your lights? Is Beyonce going to come pay your bills? Absolutely not. Is Ticketmaster going to make sure there's gas in your tank and food in your refrigerator? No. So why in the world are you giving your money to them? Once again, they don't care. It's the greed of it all. Once again, they are the elite who just want to take from the poor and the middle class to make themselves more elite, to make themselves richer. But the sad part is they don't even have to take the money. People are just giving it to them unwisely. Another person said, and I quote, "I refuse to spend 2 months' rent and groceries on one ticket to a Beyonce concert," with the annoyed face emoji, also a face palm emoji, end quote. Another person said, and I quote, "Literally who, with the owl emoji, has the audacity to spend $2,000 to $9,000 on a ticket for a single night event?" With a bunch of question marks, end quote. People who have been deceived, who really need to keep their money in their pocket and spend it on something more productive that's going to help themselves, or celebrities or influencers or whoever that's rich enough to spend that kind of money, who are also deceived and need to keep their money in their pockets to use for something more productive. Remember the other person who brought up the other expenses, the travel expenses, especially if the concert is in another state or another city. If you're traveling by car, you got to deal with gas prices, and God forbid your car breaks down. If you're traveling by plane because it's too far to drive or you don't want to drive, you got to deal with plane ticket prices, which are apparently allegedly lower now because of all those unfortunate crashes that have been happening. You also got to deal with hotel stays, who also might be price gouging people, like I mentioned before, because they know that the concert is around and it's happening. You also got to deal with food. So imagine all of that on top of $2,000 to $9,000. Even if you got it like that, once again, you don't need to be spending that just for one night. I can see if you were going on a vacation of a lifetime that lasted like 5 to 7 days. That's something completely different. You're building memories with people who you love and you care about, that you're going with. You're seeing beautiful sights, experiencing nice things in a new country, new sights, new scenery. But a concert for one night, like I said before, this is why some people are confused. This is why I'm befuddled. This is why I'm saying people are delusional, because clearly they are. Another person said, and I quote, "Why the outrage? You know the prices are ridiculous and you can't afford it, so don't go." End quote. And it really is that simple. But again, when you have made a celebrity your God instead of Yeshua, that's why people are so hung up on this. That's why they have this issue, this turmoil within themselves. Another person said, and I quote, "Michael Jackson prices wasn't even that, and he's the greatest that ever done it. Beehive, y'all better be smart and keep the roof over your head." End quote. And a lot of people were specifically addressing the Beehive because it was mostly them that were being charged all these prices. Like I said before, apparently they were the ones who were being charged the most because they were her fans. I guess they had this attitude. I'm assuming it was either Beyonce, her team, or Ticketmaster, or a combination of all of them, because we can't just put it all on Ticketmaster, right? We got to tell the truth at one point in time. They all decided, well, if y'all really like Beyonce so much, if y'all are really our fans, then y'all will pay more than anybody else. Meanwhile, they felt like, oh, you screwed us over because you made us pay more even though we like you the most. Like I said before, when you put a celebrity, a human being who has a lot of money, fame, power, and influence in the spot of your God instead of Yeshua, these are the unfortunate things that shall follow, and then some. Now, I can't validate myself from personal experience if this person is actually telling the truth about it being cheaper to have gone to a Michael Jackson concert than a Beyonce concert, because I told y'all before, I've never been to these people's concerts before. The whole Ticketmaster thing, I had to look that up. I had to look all of this up. I had to do research and look at videos to just know more of what people are talking about and get their perspective. But I'll take this person's word for it. And if it is true that those Michael Jackson tickets were cheaper than these Beyonce tickets, that is absolutely wild. Wild, another person said, and I quote, "If it's too expensive, then simply don't pay it. This shows what the artist is really about. They absolutely do have a say in how much is charged for their shows," end quote. Once again, I can't validate that personally or from personal experience, but I will take their word for it. And that does go to show you that these people, these celebrities, they don't care. Because if they did care, they'd know, oh, y'all are working hard. Y'all ain't got the kind of money we got. Y'all have every little penny and dime y'all need to keep and save. We ain't trying to make somebody go broke or end up on the streets because they can't use their brains or wisdom or financial common sense, so that they won't just give all their money away, once again, to somebody who's already leagues richer than them just because of their idol worship of this particular celebrity. Somebody else said very blatantly, and I quote, "Well, that's what the Beehive gets for making Beyonce their god. Her ego been gigantic," end quote. There were some people who did respond in agreement with her, like this one person who said exactly with the crying face, laughing emoji. There was somebody else who responded with, and I quote, "That is a lower G. It's lower G-O-D. Her sheep wishes she could be a god. But you are so right," with the 100 emoji. Bey and Jay are laughing and counting their money all the way to their secret island offshore bank account with a laughing face emoji, end quote. And that is exactly what I believe that these celebrities be doing out here. Whenever they deceive all these people into following them and supporting them with their hard-earned money that they need to be keeping, like I said, to support themselves. When they get these people to follow them like a little God, so to speak, whenever they get all this money from these people, they laugh all the way to the bank because they do not care about these people. It's all about the greed and the money. Once again, somebody on YouTube reminded us, and I quote, "Beyonce always has a concert around tax time, and the prices be through the roof. That show you that she has no respect for her fans," with the crying tear emoji and the surprise emoji, end quote. Now, somebody came under her comment and corrected what she said a little bit by saying, and I quote, "The fans have no respect for themselves. She's not stealing anyone's money. Fans are willingly giving her their money, then want to complain. Pay up or shut up." You literally don't need to go to her concert. It's not life or deletion. And if you think it is, you need to be paying for a psychiatrist and a therapist instead, end quote. And I'm going to also add what I always have said on this channel. It's for free to talk to God. If you really think it is a necessity to go to a Beyonce concert where she is charging ridiculous amounts of money that's going to possibly put you in a financial bind, you need to be talking to God, because at that point, He is the only one that can help you get out of that delusional mindset. But the sad thing is, whenever people have been calling out the, again, idol worship that people have for these celebrities, to have them out here making themselves look bad by doing stuff like this, and then running to social media to complain to us, what are we supposed to do? But they get upset whenever you call them and their idols out. They get very upset. But a lot of people have been waking up. A lot of people have been speaking out because they're really tired of putting up with it. I've noticed there are a lot of people on social media have been speaking up because, once again, they are tired of people doing stuff like this. They're tired of seeing videos of people complaining about these ticket prices and everything else, but they're still going out here supporting these celebrities. Like this lady said right here, a lot of people are at the mindset right now where they're saying, if you're going to do it, just do it and don't say nothing about it, because we don't want to hear about it. We don't want to hear you complain about something you chose to do, because Beyonce is not forcing anybody to purchase her tickets. She didn't put a gun to everybody's head and say, you better buy my $1,000 ticket or else. People are out here willingly buying these overpriced tickets. Now, another person said, and I quote, eggs are 8 for the dozen. Planes are crashing left and right, and this woman comes out with 1K tickets. Has she lost her mind? That's another thing we really need to talk about. All of the chaos that is going on in our country. Prices for everything skyrocketing. Things going haywire, and then she comes out here with $1,000 tickets. And people, once again, are still breaking themselves financially just to buy them. Another person doubled down on that by saying, and I quote, this country is going to hell in a handbasket, I might add, and they're worried about Beyonce tickets. Oh my goodness, end quote. And that's the truth. Anything these people could have made a video about, there's many things, but they chose to make it about Beyonce tickets that were overpriced, that they knew were overpriced, that they still bought. They could have made a video saying, we're sending up prayers for the people who, once again, lost relatives, friends, family members, loved ones in those plane crashes. We're still sending up prayers for the people who lost family members, relatives, friends, loved ones in those LA fires, for people who lost all their stuff and don't know how they're going to rebuild, how they're going to move forward in those LA fires. We're still praying for y'all. Y'all need some money? Set up a GoFundMe. We'll send you something. It might not be much. We might not have much to send, but we'll send something. But instead, they chose to make videos about Beyonce tickets that they chose to buy. Another person said $4,000 is crazy. I better be on stage with her, end quote. And a lot of people have been saying that with these ticket prices, or I better be doing this. We better be singing together, etc., etc. Another person said, and I quote, or eating backstage with her, LOL. Another person said with laughing face emojis, right? For that price, she better pass me the mic so I can hit some notes. Another person basically said, forget just eating with her backstage, and I quote, on stage, backstage, and the back room for that, with a laughing face emoji, end quote. Another person said, and I quote, I'm far from broke, but I will never pay this ridiculous sum of money to see anyone, end quote. And I'm glad for their input, because once again, even the people who can afford that kind of money, who do have that kind of money to pay, that's still no excuse. Another person said, and I quote, seems like we paying for the tickets plus Jay-Z's lawyer fees, LOL. And for all we know, that could very well be the truth. Y'all know we have to say allegedly. Of course, some people will really fix their mouths to say, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. That's ridiculous. If y'all have seen a decent amount of my videos, you should know by now how I feel about when people say conspiracy theory, especially when it's something or pertaining to something that actually makes a lot of sense. Because those lawyers, those very high profile lawyers, listen, they're not cheap. And these celebrities, to stay out of trouble, they have to fork over quite a lot of money. I would not be surprised at this point. And also, y'all don't know what could be going on behind closed doors. Y'all don't know the cases that they could be dealing with behind closed doors. Not even lawyer fees, but paying people off, settlements. And people want to say, oh, well, they have to make that public knowledge. I am befuddled at the amount of people who, it's like they put their common sense to the side whenever it comes to certain people. Just because somebody pays somebody off doesn't mean we're going to find out about it. There's these things called under the table settlements, if you will. Just because they paid somebody doesn't mean it was legally done, let alone will ever reach the surface for people to find out. Beyonce is still very much connected to him, so if he goes down, his reputation takes a hit because something came out about him, y'all know we have to say allegedly, that was very heinous, her reputation is going to take a hit a little bit as well. And of course, she's not trying to have that, if y'all get my drift. Once again, somebody doubled down on the thoughts and the feelings of all of us who are not living in the delusion and under the idol worshiping spell that a lot of these people are under. And I quote, I think I am most perplexed on the fact that people are complaining after they made the purchase with 3 laughing face crying emojis, end quote. Another person said, and I quote, bruh, some of these people are acting like they are literally going to cease existing if they don't see Beyonce with 3 more laughing face crying emojis, end quote. And that's exactly how some of these people are really acting. Like, it's like they're mad because they're acting like she made them give her their money. I don't understand it. But again, it's the whole idol worship. They're under a delusion they really need to be delivered from, but they can't see it. And once again, it's sad when you point it out, people get offended, they get mad. Oh, you're talking about our favorite celebrity. Now they have to say a bunch of derogatory stuff. But if they would wake up, they would be in a much better disposition than what they are now. And they would realize how ridiculous they are behaving. Another person once again reminded us, and I quote, this is the last thing on my to-do list. There are literally aircraft falling mid-flight, end quote. I said this before in this video. There are planes crashing left and right, and this is what they are worried about out here. There was literally a plane on the news that had crashed upside down, y'all. It was by God's grace and mercy that those people even survived. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they crashed or if they had to actually land, but it somehow landed upside down. I'm not even joking. They had to help the people unbuckle their seatbelts upside down. Then had the audacity to tell the people, don't be recording on your phones. No, they need to be recording so people can know what's happening out there. Another person in these YouTube comments said, and I quote, Beyonce's team said, oh, it's tax return season. Run it, with laughing face emojis. The person underneath them commented, the fact that people are complaining like it's not optional is crazy, end quote. Once again, that is very crazy. Like, they're really out here flipping out as if they didn't have the option to not purchase these tickets, to not go. It is very disturbing. I done told y'all before, this is not a joke. This is sad. Another person said, and I quote, these people give me idol worshiper vibes. Ain't nobody on this planet Earth that I would pay $400 to watch, especially in this economy, end quote. And that's just $400, and I don't blame them. Another person once again pointed out, and I quote, them all saying Ticketmaster, count your days, while actively giving them money is goofy, followed by a laughing crying face emoji, end quote. And that's the truth. I've said before, doing this is only rewarding them for taking advantage of people. You keep giving them your money, they're going to keep taking it. That's how this works. Another person said, going into debt to go see an artist that doesn't even interact with her fans is crazy, end quote. Which apparently is something else that people have been talking about, that she does not really interact with the fans, apparently, allegedly. Again, what is wrong with people? Once again, another person said, and I quote, people are starving, losing jobs, and they're worried about buying tickets to see a rich person get richer. Shaking my head, make it make sense, end quote. Once again, they're choosing to put themselves in a financially bad disposition by giving money to make people who are rich even richer. Indeed, make it make sense. Another person once again said, and I quote, they're complaining, but still paying, end quote. And another person right beneath them basically said something that I've been trying to figure out for the longest, and I still can't wrap my head around it. And I quote, where's the outrage on cost of groceries, the cost of living, gas prices? We worried about the wrong things here. Shaking my head, Beyonce been expensive, end quote. And that is something that people really need to be talking about. Where was all of this outrage when y'all's groceries started going up, when the eggs started growing up? There were people that were saying, these egg prices are getting a little too much. But where was all of this collective outrage? All of this smoke whenever rent was going up, whenever all kind of other stuff was happening in the economy. If these people would have came with this same kind of aggression and the same kind of smoke when other things were happening that should not have, imagine what we may have been able to change, but we cannot now because it has already gotten so far out of hand. Now, I believe the Lord will help us if we rely and depend on him and do what is right. But apparently that's too much like right for some people to handle. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all of this down in the comments below respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all all have a very blessed, beautiful, and safe day.